Welcome to Fearlessly Made You. I am your host, Kristie Tobias. Joining me today are guests just striving to dominate in their personal and professional lives while answering the question, what does it mean to be fearlessly made? On this episode of Fearlessly Made You, y'all, I'm so excited. You guys know I'm always so excited, but I really am excited. As always, I have the privilege of bringing friends onto my own show. So I have my wonderful friend, Nicole Stacey. And, technically speaking, she's the director of communication and marketing for Visit Pensacola. What she really is the queen of all things. So that's really Nicole's title for anyone that was wondering. So Nicole, welcome to Fearlessly Made You.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Girl, let's be very honest too. Nicole, we've been trying to get Nicole on Fearlessly Made You since we started. There are a few people who travel as much as I do, if not more, and Nicole is one of those people, which is amazing. But it's also, the cool thing that I love about Nicole is she has such a beautiful perspective and vibe on everything Pensacola. But beyond that, she's just a cool human.
Thank you.
And we randomly spend a lot of time together.
I love it. I'm so fortunate to have met you and so grateful. But you're right. I do love all things Pensacola.
You do. Well, and let's cheers to that because we love Pensacola.
Cheers.
And yes, we have our wine. A little sip as usual. So again, friends, for those of you that are not watching, I don't know why you're not, but grab your wine, enjoy, because we're going to have a nice little chat. So Nicole, the Fearlessly Made You crew wants to know all about you. So why don't you tell us about who you are?
Sure. I mean, I really don't know where to start, but I am from Fort Walton. I grew up over there. I am a graduate of Fort Walton Beach High School, which we had a discussion about a few minutes ago.
Yes, there's a little bit of a war that's going on right now between Nicole and our production crew. You guys got a chance to meet Travis during one of my episodes where we did a behind the scenes. Travis and Nicole are a little bit at odds at the moment because they went to rival high schools. I'm just going to sit back and drink my wine as this conversation unfolds. We'll go back to that.
A rival never ends.
A rival never ends.
But I decided to go to the University of West Florida for undergrad, for public relations and a minor in marketing. And then, that was kind of when the recession was going on. There were no jobs. I did not want to be a sales call girl. I was like, I want to live that PR life of Sex and the City.
Oh, girl.
What is happening? My dreams are not coming true.
Yeah.
So the university actually said, well, if you work for us, we'll help you with your master's. So I stayed and I got a master's in strategic communications and leadership. I worked with the student activities department, helped put on all of their leadership initiatives and mentors and presentations. And that kind of led me into just really loving Pensacola even more. Yes. From there, a part of Junior League, actually, and I don't think I've ever told you this story.
I don't think you have.
There was a woman in Junior League, and I had a glass of wine with her. Surprise.
Honestly, guys, any good story starts with
a glass of wine.
I had a glass of wine.
And she said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, I really just want to travel. I want to be in marketing, and I want to learn from people that inspire me. And she said, well, I have a job for you. Do you want to move to Houston next week? And I was like, what?
Ooh.
And I thought she was joking. And then I thought, we've had way too many glasses of wine. Something's not right here. And I got a call the next week, and it was like, we'd love to bring you out to Houston to show you the properties. We think you'd be great. And I literally hung up on the people because I'm like, what is happening? So it was for a property management company. They wanted me to be their marketing director and kind of represent the Houston market.
Yeah.
So I moved to Houston. And I tell everyone the story, but I was the Olivia Pope of apartment complexes.
Guys, I love a good Olivia Pope reference.
I'm obsessed with it. So when the show came out, I was like, there's your life.
Yes.
But the better you are in managing and marketing, the worse properties they give you.
Oh, that's not great.
No. So the stories I could tell you are unlimited.
Oh my goodness.
What happened. So
I did not, as a pause in our friendship, just to pause us for a minute. I did not even know this I knew there was a Houston side of your life. I didn't know that there was this part of your life.
And I loved it. I loved Houston.
Okay.
I loved the city life. I lived in Midtown. I always talked to Sydney, our mutual friend.
I was going to say, and you guys had the chance to meet Sydney on a previous episode. For those of you that are like, who's Sydney? Why aren't you watching all of the episodes of Fearlessly Made You? I am disappointed. Not disappointed, just kidding. But if you're wondering who that is, check out a previous episode of Fearlessly Made You because she talks about her life, and Houston is where Sydney is from. So
I loved
amazing.
It. But then they're like, hey, we want to move you to Macon, Georgia. And I was like, what's there?
Who? in there.
Right. So moved there. I was there for only like 2 months. Then they're like, we want to move you to Birmingham, which was better, but I didn't love Birmingham. It was away from the water.
Yeah.
I'm a water girl.
Yeah.
Then they're like, let's move you to Mobile. And I was like, okay, now we're getting so close to home
close.
that you're like teasing me.
Disrespectful.
So, and
Disrespectful.
it was getting further and further away from my degree and the things that fulfilled me and made me happy. So the job with the Pensacola Beach Chamber came up. One of my mentors said, hey, this title might scare you a little bit, but I think you should go for it. And it was the president and CEO of the Pensacola Beach Chamber. I was 25. I was like, I'm sure, I'll try.
Living your best life.
Because I really believe you should just say yes.
I agree.
Like, as scared as you might be, say yes.
You mean being fearlessly made?
Exactly. No pun intended.
No pun intended.
So I interviewed. They thought it was great to have someone young and fresh and to really bring about the Pensacola Beach businesses and the community. And I was scared. I think they were scared, but
everyone was scared.
We went for it. And so I was there for 5 years, and I got a chance to really work with Visit Pensacola as a colleague and as a partner. And then the director of marketing and communications came up. And a lot of people say, well, that's like a lesser than title. And for me, and I tell all of my staff this and my friends this, a title truly means nothing.
Amen.
It means nothing.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, but it's not. It's the next step in my career. It's the next step in my network. And just with all of the people I've met, now I get to talk about all of Pensacola, not just the beach. Now the beach will always.
Yes, girl.
Always have a special spot.
We're going to have to cheers to that one. Okay,
Cheers.
So for those of you that don't live at the beach, move there.
Thank you.
I love the beach. And, you know, I let out the little tidbit in one of the episodes, and who knows what episode we're on at this point, but about a move that I am making. And the beach, though, is like one of the things that like continues to draw me to Pensacola on top of my people in my network. But I love the beach.
You'll be back.
I'm always here.
You'll be back. Sand, toes in the sand.
Yeah. This doesn't impact anything. Let's be honest. Pensacola is always going to be a home. It's just called expanding my reach.
Exactly.
Expanding my reach.
Exactly. Yes. Which I love.
But back to you and you expanding your reach all over the world and ending up back at the beach.
I was like, I have to have this job. Like it was made for me. And I interned at Visit Pensacola back in college. So rewind.
Yeah.
So some of these people were still there and they were seeing me as this like young little 18, 19, 20-year-old. And I'm like, hey, I'm back.
We back.
And I have loved it. I've been there 5 years.
Yeah.
I've loved it ever since.
That's amazing. Okay, so it's so interesting. This whole story, I did not realize all the little jumps, which is amazing. Big jumps, I shouldn't say. And now to be in a space that really allows you to kind of bring about your most authentic self, I think is so beautiful. So in hearing that, what it always brings up, of course, no pun intended, is the premise of Fearlessly Made You, which is not allowing fear to own your journey. And so hearing your transitions, how do you feel like you've personified that conversation around like what it means to be fearlessly made?
Sure, and I think it really started with my mom. I grew up in a single parent home, and it was my mom and my sister, the three musketeers as we are. And she didn't come from this college-bound, high education background, and she just always instilled, you do whatever you want to do. Whatever makes you happy is what you need to do. And so for me, it was, I want to be successful. I don't ever want to have to worry about a bill. I want to have to take care of my family if I want to.
Yeah.
I want to travel and just live life. And I think I do that well.
I think you do. Safe to say.
I love
For all
living
of you listening
life.
and you're like, she does. We all know.
But she just, it was no pressure, but she was always there. So always the support. So for me, I just kept going. And I kept saying, like, even if it's scary, just say yes. Like, what is the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
They tell you no, you get rejected, you mess up. Well, we're human. Yep. We all do.
Yeah.
And so her and my sister have been my biggest cheerleaders. And I think Fearlessly Made means surrounding yourself with people that inspire you.
Yep.
But people that will kick your ass when you need it.
Amen. Yes.
People that will set you straight. Yeah. But people that are going to love you regardless. Like, I could be flipping burgers and my family would be happy for me if it made me happy.
Yes.
So.
I love that. And, it's funny because there's a chapter in the book that talks about your check yourself crew. Mm-hmm. So it's those people you surround yourself with. And it's the reminder to all of you out there, make sure you have your check yourself crew that bring value to your life, that tell you like it is, but also are there to support, uplift you, and bring you up up when you've been knocked down, or continue to push you forward as you continue to move forward. And I love that that's your mom and your sister.
Absolutely.
And so for them though, and seeing kind of where you are now, do you talk to them all the time, by the way?
Well, they all live here now.
They all live here.
Everyone has
here.
moved to Pensacola.
This is called the Stacey family.
Yes.
This is Stacey family cola is what it is called now.
And they love it. And if they didn't, I'd make them love it.
Okay. I love that. So I'm sure they're so proud of you. And I love that journey. And I think part of it too, you know, as everyone knows, I've had the chance to have the Tobias siblings on Fearlessly Made You, and I just keep bringing us on. But it's so important to have that relationship with your family. I know family may be different for so many people, so do not limit that to your blood family, because everyone has a different relationship. But that relationship with your family is so beautiful and so powerful. Has it always been that way? Just hearing kind of a little bit of the upbringing for you, that was probably hard for your mom, and I'm sure there were some difficult times as well.
Absolutely. So, I mean, my mom was that mom that worked 3 jobs, would never tell us no if she didn't have to. So would something go unpaid? Maybe, but I wouldn't know that, because she wanted us to go to the summer camp or be in ballet or do whatever it was we have to do. So I think she really instilled that work ethic in me of like, you got to work hard, but you can get things done.
Yeah.
And then, of course, my sister and I are very close in age, so we weren't always the closest of friends, because you're at that age. She's stealing my clothes. She now is friends with my friends.
Is she older or younger?
Younger.
Okay, I thought she was younger.
And my friends liked her, and I didn't understand why. You know,
why are you talking to her?
Right, 100%. And my best friends will tell you, like, you were not always this close. Like, they're so happy that we are now. But I think you just go through those phases of life. College really brought us back together, because we were both at UWF, and we went through just life's challenges. You know, I loved college. She didn't necessarily love it as much, but she was so passionate about other things. And so when I moved, it was like, okay, we're going to have to work hard, because I don't live here anymore. My mom got remarried. She moved all around, so she wasn't here anymore. So it's like, we got to keep the pack.
Yeah.
So I think the challenges have just made us all stronger. And now, looking back, my sister's here. She's married. She has a baby who, if you follow me on anything, you know, almost looks like my baby, because I just love him so much.
Does look like you.
Which I rub in all the time.
I'm thinking about that every time I see. Yes, he looks like you. I never really noticed that until this very moment. But I noticed it, but I never really thought about it. But yeah, he does.
Genes are strong.
So your baby.
She's going to kill me.
I know. We're sorry.
I do love him, so you have nothing to worry about.
I love that. Well, and you know, I think that's so funny, because the dynamic has changed for sure. And I can definitely relate to that. You guys will know from the episode with my sister, she and I have 9 years between us, so we did not get along for a very long time. And now as adults, we have found our footing after many mistrials and trying to figure it out.
I think that happens with everyone.
I think so
it's normal now when people are like, you didn't? I'm like, if you did, have you really like tested those waters and challenged each other?
Right. Yes. Well, and in thinking about that, I mean, your journey, though you've gotten to the place where you are now, was challenging. So talk a little bit about your journey, personal, professional, just kind of as you've been growing up and getting into this space where I call you that confidence, you know, badass boss lady. That probably wasn't always the case. So let's talk about kind of that upbringing for you.
Yeah, and it still isn't always the case. And it always reminds me of that TikTok that's like, I don't know if you've seen it, but they're like, well, what do you do when you don't feel good or you don't feel pretty? And they're like, you fake it. You fake it till you make it. You just keep going. And it's so true. Like, I am confident in what I do. I'm confident in who I am, but not every day is that perfect day. And I think as a woman, and I think you and I have talked about this before, is it's really hard out there for women.
It is.
It was 10 years ago when we got started in our careers. It is today. And while that looks very different every year, and for every individual woman, it's not easy, because you're answering to stronger men. You're answering to people who think they're smarter than you, to people who make more money than you or grew up differently than you. And I think that's why I always just go back to just say yes. Because, you might have a better education. You might make more money. You might have had both parents in your life, but I can do it too.
Yeah.
And I don't always succeed, but I try. And as long as you try, I think no one can fault you for
I
anything.
love that. Well, and it kind of brings me into this really great space of, and you're already kind of leading there, but there are people out there that don't know how to do that. They don't know how to stand up for themselves or be confident. So what advice would you give to people that are trying to live what I call that fearless existence?
Sure. I spent a lot of time talking in the mirror.
Do you really?
I really did.
It doesn't surprise me at all in a great way. Like, it really doesn't, because you guys have to, like, I think about Nicole and I do Ride Society. You guys had a chance to meet Claire Campbell during one of the very first episodes of Fearlessly Made You, who's the owner of Ride Society. And Nicole and I became close because we are basically at the 6 a.m. Ride Society class like every morning. But it's funny because, and I'm sure I've told you this before, and if not, I'm telling you now, I can always tell when you're there.
Thank you.
It's a great thing. You have a presence, even at 6 a.m. when we're all, well, it's really like 5.
It's probably a really interesting presence.
It's a strong one. Whatever you're feeling is there. And that's a good thing, though. Like, whatever you're feeling is definitely there. But it's usually a very positive presence. But it's just you, like, regardless of where you're at, you're like, I'm here. And this is how I stand up for who I am. And you've never questioned that. You've never faltered on that. And I shouldn't say never, because I don't want to use absolutes, because I know we all have our imperfections, but that is where you're at now. And so it's always thinking about for those people who are like, I don't know how to get there.
Right.
Like, it's a hard one.
You know, my mom will tell you when I was little, I used to have the loudest facial expressions. I still do, and I'm well aware of that. But she would be like, I don't really think that one worked. You should probably go practice again. To, like, check me again, have your people check you. That was my mother.
Yes. I got the watch your face.
Right. So now it's like, I tell people, I talk to myself, because I think even for interviews, when I have my sister or friends or younger mentors, like at UWF, and I'm talking to a class, I'm like, practice in that mirror.
Yeah.
Because they can hear your energy over the phone.
Absolutely.
People don't think they can, but if the pandemic has taught us anything, Zoom, phone calls without human-to-human interaction, you can feel it.
Yes, and there are a lot of things that should have been emails, but that's a whole different conversation.
We could spend a whole nother segment.
That's the next episode.
A meeting
what
for a meeting
really been
for
an email.
But I think, too, having that strong support system.
Yeah.
So, you know, I truly believe that saying of you are the 5 people that you spend the most time with.
Yes.
I spend a lot more time with just 5 people, but my support system of my girl gang, because that's what they are, is strong.
Yes.
They're business owners, they're moms, they are students, they are figuring it out every day, and not everyone is the same. Actually, none of us are the same. No. We don't look the same, we don't act the same, we don't date the same, we don't do anything the same.
Dating will also be an entirely different episode.
Conversation.
That's not today. We're not having that conversation today.
But they support me and I support them, and I think we just feed off of each other.
Yeah.
And so even when I'm feeling a little bit in doubt of like, oh, I don't know about this presentation, or I don't know about this interview or this meeting, they will tell me through and through every single time, you got this.
Yeah.
And I think, too, for us as individuals, if we don't think we've got it, like, that's where we've got to go back in and do the inner work of, like, you do have it. Like, you've got this. We've all got this. And I think the more we believe in that, the further we will all be.
I love that. It's the inner work, too, because you've got to put in that accountability, and I love that.
Inner work.
There is so much inner work. And so in thinking about that, though, and thinking about where you are now, and the work that has gotten you to this place, you know, but professionally, personally, just who you are as a human, and a wonderful, amazing woman, I also think about, and I always ask people this question because it looks different for everyone, it's that concept around balance. And it sounds cliche, right? But you guys are used to this question, but it's what that means to you.
Sure.
Because it has to mean something different for everyone. But where do you find, or what does it look like for you to think about the word and the concept around balance?
And I love that you said it's different for everyone, because if you were to ask just anyone, they'd be like, she has no balance. There's no chill for her. And maybe that's the case, but I thrive off of other people.
Yes.
When you say extrovert, I'm like falling off.
She's in the dictionary.
Of the chart.
That's her face. It's just Nicole.
But I think, too, you know, for a long time I was so focused on my career and so focused on getting ahead. And so now, again, the pandemic really has kind of pivoted for me of, you got to work on you.
Yeah.
You got to do self-care. You've got to spend time with your family, because life is too short. So I think I'm really just now figuring out that balance. I think for a long time balance was, oh, I'll just hang out with my friends, or I'll go on a trip, or I'll sign up for a community service event. But really, if I'm spending time with people I care about and I love, that's my balance.
Yeah.
Because they kind of just, it relaxes me. I feel good. I feel loved. My heart and my cup gets full.
Yeah.
And then I can go out and be a better version of myself.
I love a better version of yourself. Ooh, I love that. It's magical. And I think in hearing that though, when I think about a better version of yourself and I think about the balance that you bring, I loved the self-care aspect of it, but I also loved something that you said that was very strategically said, filling your cup. So let's talk about filling our cup. We're going to play a little bit of a game with Nicole.
Ooh.
So, and you guys are used to this game. They're like, it's not a game, it's the question she asks every time. Shh. It's fun for me. Okay, so let's talk about as you're finding where that thriving place is. So for you, surrounded by a bunch of people, and you have a glass of a beverage in your hand, alcoholic. What beverage, wine, beer, liquor, whatever it is, what beverage do you have in your hand?
I will always have a glass of Prosecco in my hand.
Hey.
I'm a bubbly girl.
You are a bubbly girl in general. I love that. And so we're going to do a little cheers to Nicole because you have been, as I expected, a fantastic guest on Fearlessly Made You. It's been 17 years in the making. We finally got here.
I'm so appreciative of your patience.
My persistence. Like, Nicole, is it now? Is it now?
I've loved it. We're done?
We may be. I don't know. I know. We're going to just keep talking. You guys, we're going to keep talking. But we are going to sign off from here. But Nicole, thank you again for being part of Fearlessly Made You. And you guys, as usual, make sure you tune in, listen in, and subscribe to Fearlessly Made You. We'll see you on the next episode.